Welcome to the third Stupid Deaths recording, where Penance RPG plays Stupid Deaths. This time we have 4 players, possibly 5 when they turn up. So, starting at the top, just say who you are, and if you've played this before, and also what your thoughts on Napoleon is. Starting with AJ.
Hey, it's me, AJ. I played this for a little bit when I rolled into the end of a recording. Napoleon, I gotta say I'm not a fan.
That's fair enough. Susie?
Hi, I'm Susie. I haven't played this before, and Napoleon is one of these characters from history who had a large effect. He was clever, he killed a lot of people, he was overconfident, and things didn't go well for him in the end. And yet he managed to come back, I think, a couple of times. So, as a person, he was impressive. As a human being, not so much.
Fair enough then. Dragon.
Hello, I'm Dragon. I played in both of the initial 2 recordings of this. I did terribly in the first, and then not so bad in the second. Napoleon. I'm going to twist it and go to Animal Farm.
Yay!
Because, well, in fairness, it was pretty much just as problematic as Napoleon Bonaparte. So well named. It was a good choice of name.
I do love Animal Farm. And Tom?
I am Tom. I have not played this before. I don't know, kind of torn about Napoleon because on the one hand, you never underestimate the Russian winter. Come on. But I guess he was the first person to underestimate it for quite a while, so. On the other hand, he led the revolutionary French on a path of conquest and victory and all that, so that's pretty cool. And his sort of heirs, I guess, Napoleon II, Napoleon III, and Napoleon III.5, they were not as cool as him. They didn't achieve as much either.
Fair enough then. So,
Plus, you know, if you believe in Bill and Ted, he had an awesome time at water parks.
ice cream.
Quite liberal as well. I guess, you know, revolutionary France was obviously going to be quite liberal. But, you know, he passed a lot of laws that these days we'd think, well, isn't that a basic thing? You know, something that everyone should have. Yeah. But at the time, it was very much a land dominated by serfs and nobles, so didn't have all that stuff.
Yet he had an effect.
Yes, absolutely.
So, how this game will work is I will read out these cards, which are from the game Stupid Deaths by, I think it's University Games. I will read the born and death dates, I will read the name, and then I'll read the paragraph I have in front of me. The cast have to work out whether they think it's true or false, and then they vote. And they get a point if they get it right, they get nothing if they get it wrong, and at the end of 30, we tell who the winner is. So, for example, and we have Napoleon here as an example. Born 1769, died 1821, Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon was a French military and political leader who rose to prominence during the French Revolution, but after losing the Battle of Waterloo to the British, Napoleon was exiled to the island of St. Helena, where he died choking on a fishbone.
Ooh, was it a fishbone? Because he definitely went to St. Helena. I mean, he was exiled all over the damn place. Wasn't he exiled to Corsica twice, and then St. Helena as well?
He was exiled a lot.
It was Corsica, Elba, and
yes.
Yeah.
Question, are we allowed to Google shit?
No, that's cheating.
I feel that's against the spirit.
What you can do is, because we have all had this in every episode, if after we find someone that's either true or false, that you go, that can't be fucking right, I need more detail on that, because we only get a paragraph here, you can look them up and talk about it. Okay. I've had at least one in both episodes so far that we needed to know more.
We've gone, that's not true? What the hell happened then?
Okay.
But the real question here isn't anything to do with like the first 95% of the information.
No, it's
really just didn't Napoleon die from choking on a fishbone?
I know that
I think he did then, didn't he?
The house that he was put into on St. Helena was absolutely full of super toxic paint and things, and he got really sick from that.
That sounds about typical for the time.
But I can't remember if he died from that or a fishbone.
I'm going to say true, because I want it to be.
It could be just anything. Could have been.
Yeah.
Just went mad.
Yeah, he definitely. I'm pretty certain he didn't die in a fight or nothing, so.
No.
He definitely died in exile.
It was a very ignominious death compared to his life.
And like, fishbone is a lot of ways. Say like, oh yeah, he, quotes, died on choking on a fishbone.
Totally. Yeah. Okay. So
usually at this point, I would say to you to go to the dice channel and vote, but because it's the example one, we don't have to. So we just go through and say what would you say as your answer, starting with AJ.
True, because
Susie?
why not?
True. I think so too.
I'm going to go with false because I think it was something to do with the toxins.
True. It's hard for me to tell, but true.
It is in fact false.
Ah. What's the reality? What did he choke
Well,
on?
we don't know. That's the only problem with this game is it doesn't tell us what they actually happened to them. It just-
Oh,
I'm
you're
Googling
kidding.
it right now.
Yeah.
Let me get
it's
Google.
so annoying.
Stomach ulcer.
Stomach ulcer. All right. Okay.
Did French rivals slip poison into his wine? Was it even
No.
Napoleon who died in Longhouse in May 1821?
It was probably just, like
Yeah.
toxic plates.
They're saying most likely of stomach cancer, so it was probably like
Yeah.
eating off his lead
Yikes.
plates or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let us roll into our first question then. So, born 1823, died 1863, Horace Lawson Hunley. Horace was a naval engineer working for the Confederate forces in the American Civil War. He developed a submarine and was so confident in his invention that he himself was on board when it set out on an early test. It sank with all the men aboard, including Hunley, and everyone was drowned.
How many? Oh, I guess it doesn't say on the card.
Yeah, we don't have further questions. Like, I
I
don't
really-
think
I
he
really
invented
do-
the submarine.
I really do wish we had a little bit more info on this, but
I mean, if he was trying to invent a submarine-like thing, yes, I would maybe say yes. But I mean,
I
when
think
was
I
the
might have
submarine
heard
in?
something about this.
Yeah.
What was the date again?
born
been
1823, died 1863. So he was 40.
Like, I've heard the words Confederate submarine before.
Yeah, so have I. And I know that there was loads of attempts over the last 300 years to make a submarine.
Yeah.
So
Some of them worked, some of them didn't.
yeah, I'm sure the Confederates tried a submarine.
Yeah. Just like I say, I don't have anything more to go on in the information you've given, but just based on the fact that I think I've heard about this, that's all really.
Alright, well, if there's no more chat, then we go to the dice channel and say, prepare your vote. So we have AJ and Tom saying true, and Susie and Dragon saying false. It is true.
Dig, nabbit.
Off
Nice.
to an early lead.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he totally didn't invent the submarine, did he? Because the submarine wasn't
Well, I guess he
actually a
failed.
working thing
Well,
until
no,
we had
he didn't
steel.
He didn't invent the submarine, but he said it developed a submarine.
He definitely didn't invent a working submarine at the very
Yeah.
least.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
saying Da Vinci invented the helicopter. No, he drew pictures of what may have worked.
It's a bit
Difference.
different.
Yes. Anyway, next one.
Next, born 1953, died 1985, Glenn Evans. An enthusiastic globetrotter, Glenn visited the notorious San Pedro prison in La Paz, Bolivia. Once inside, Glenn started to goad the inmates, which led to a fight with a notorious prisoner who killed him in a single punch.
Hmm.
So he was 32. Decided he wanted to get rowdy in a Bolivian prison.
Well, he was investigating the prison.
Yeah, he just said he
That
visited.
does not sound like a safe thing to do.
Yeah.
He was an enthusiastic globetrotter who visited the notorious San Pedro prison.
Just visited it.
Yep.
But he did go to prisoner.
It says go to the inmates,
Yeah.
which led to a fight with a notorious prisoner who killed him in a single punch.
I mean, yeah, like, see if I was in a really shitty prison, which that one sounds like, and some freaking jet-setting, smarmy globetrotter guy came in for us a visit and was, like, just popping round the prison like you were all in a zoo.
Yeah.
I'd punch him. You can accidentally kill people with a punch, so...
Yeah, it happened around
Was
here.
Just insane. Like, it's a really stupid risk to take.
Mm.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, vote now. So we have Dragon, Susie, and AJ saying true, and Tom saying false.
I've got a
It's
bad feeling
false.
about this.
Ah.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah! What did he?
Well,
Oh, wait, we don't know, of course.
No idea.
Keep forgetting that.
Yeah, I know, I really wish we had a little bit more info. Okay, next. Born 1941, died 1965, Martin It's a Quebec name, so probably as Loubs. Loubes. Martin Loubs, 24-year-old from Fairmont, Quebec, was an avid ice hockey player, boasting that he could take a puck to the chest without protection. He invited his teammates to have a free shot at him, and the first puck hit him squarely in the face and killed him.
What was the
Maybe?
birth and death date?
1941 to 1965.
He was a dumbass in his
24.
20s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of. My brain has totally blanked on it. But
Hockey.
it's like. No, not hockey. It's a sitcom-y thing. Letterkenny, that's it. Been watching a lot of Letterkenny. And they have hockey players in that, and they seem dumb enough, stereotypically, to do that kind of shit. So.
I mean, my only
see it happening.
sense of reference is Happy Gilmore, so.
It just seems like something that's so obviously going to go badly.
Yeah. If the answer is like, no, but he did get killed by the second hockey puck, that feels like it's cheating, but it
That would be so annoying.
wouldn't it? It's like, oh well, actually, fuck you.
Alright, so if that's chat over, let's just go to the voting part. So, Dragon and AJ say false, Tom and Susie say true. It's false.
Dang it. It was the second hockey puck.
So, our next contestant. Born 1772, died 1820. Robert Renfrew. Renfrew was a lucrative trade as a rope maker. He supplied all the ropes used in judicial executions in England. In 1820, however, he was convicted of involvement in an attempt to overthrow the British government and was sentenced to death for treason. He was hanged by one of his own ropes.
I don't know a lot about what was going on then.
What was the date?
72.
He was 48.
Born 1772, died 1820.
1820, Victoria just got to the throne.
No, not quite.
No?
That was 1837, I think.
37? Really? That far in?
Thought it was. I could be wrong.
But the way I remember it was like, it's a little bit into 1800 and a little bit before 1900 was when Victoria was around. But I could be wrong.
She died 1901.
1901. Oh.
It was 37. So she...
Yeah. So it is late Georgian, so Regency, basically, except he was actually king by then.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly. There was quite a lot of things going on at that point, so it could easily be true.
Was that when there was a lot of like Welsh uprisings and things? Or am I thinking of something else?
Like the Rebecca riots.
Possibly.
Yeah, could be. It's difficult. There's no like major uprisings or anything in the UK at that point, but it could still easily be something along those lines.
Yeah.
So, do we get this question wrong if he wasn't hanged by his own rope?
I guess so, yeah, because it says he was.
I think yes. That sounds like fun, so I'm going to say true again. I've got to get it right eventually at some point.
It sounds like one of the things that they would do just to drive the point home.
Yeah, exactly. It's like your British kind of boom.
Well, plus, if he was the one who was making all the ropes anyway, they're not going to go out of their way to get somebody else to make the rope.
I know, and they've already
Yeah,
bought them,
it's
so, man made good rope.
Maybe that was his final request.
He made bad British subject.
Alright, so 3, 2, 1, vote now. So you all say it's true, it's false.
It's actually false.
See, that's exactly the kind of one where it would be helpful to have a bit of extra,
Yeah.
Birth date unknown, died 1820. Madame Delinsky. The Delinskys, a married couple, performed magic acts. One of Madame Delinsky's feats was catching a bullet in her teeth, the illusion reliant on the gun shooting a blank. A private show for a German prince went tragically wrong when a live bullet hit Miss Delinsky's stomach, permanently closing their show.
And killing her, presumably?
Yes!
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes, because I want all fake magicians like that to be shot in the stomach. So
I'd say it's probably resulted in a death because, it's the game. Stupid deaths. But it might not be.
So, 3, 2, 1, vote now. You all say true again.
And it's all false again.
True.
Ah, yes.
Is it true?
Yay! I finally have 8 points.
Oh yeah.
So the scores after 5 questions is AJ 3, Dragon 2, Susie 1, Tom 3.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Now a word from our sponsor. I will need to type this one and let Dragon tell me how to pronounce it because it's Greek.
Oh, God. Is it like ancient Greek?
564 BC.
Yes.
Yes.
So yes.
Archeon.
Archeon, okay. Roughly unknown, died 564 BC. The Greek athlete Archeon fought in the Olympic final of the Pankration? Pankration.
Pancration.
So, the Olympic final of the Pankration, an ancient equivalent of the mixed martial arts. He won by forcing his opponent to submit, but in the process, he had his neck broken. He didn't live to be declared the winner.
I'd go with yes.
What?
This is just thinking about what's going on in ancient Greece at the time, probably yes. And the reason you would push to that extent is because winning one of the 4 great games was linked to religion and the gods.
I mean, it's not.
And
I mean,
think Pancration was it's like a style of wrestling, but it was properly brutal.
I mean, even nowadays, like, people, refuse to give in and die because they're being idiots.
Yeah.
I guess it's just a bit more common back then when the life expectancy was 12.
Yeah, I'm going to go true for that. I could be wrong, but
Let us go to the voting. So, Tom and AJ say false, Dragon and Susie say true. It is true.
I thought it was going to be a tricksy one where it's like, oh, it's actually true, but actually it was not quite true.
So, with Susie on 2 and everyone else on 3, we go to our next question. Born 1932, died 1975, Billy Wake. Wake was not the brightest man. He'd been worried for months that the lightning conductor on his house in North Carolina was faulty. But it wasn't until a storm hit that he decided to fix it. Climbing the roof to inspect, he was struck by lightning.
Yes, because he was probably high in the 70s. And that would seem like a really good fucking idea, probably.
Wait,
I mean, it was his antenna for the TV, so...
Did you say Ohio?
North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Totally high. 70s, they went entirely... people didn't exactly know how to... It was his antenna for his TV, or...?
It was the lightning conductor on his house.
okay, so it was the strip to protect.
To protect his house. Yeah, so maybe it had just been genuinely sitting at a bad angle and he'd been meaning to fix it or something. But yeah, I think so, yeah.
I better go fix it before...
The storm hit.
The storm
Oh,
hits
no.
and he goes, I need to go and fix it now.
Because otherwise, the house will get hit by lightning.
Yep.
Yeah. Saved his house, I guess.
I bet that's a great consolation.
His charred corpse is just like, well, at least the house didn't burn down. That was close.
This'll pay for a nice funeral. Yeah, I'm going with true.
Yeah.
It's worked for me so far. Or it hasn't. Yeah,
Alright.
I'm going to get half of them right.
Prepare your vote. All of you say true, it's false.
Damn it.
Damn! I bet it was his TV antenna. I bet this is how the things are.
It's always the ones we agree on that we get wrong.
Okay. Well, when we're all in consensus, I'm just going to vote the opposite way then.
Well,
this is
yeah,
the longest
but
name so
of course
far.
we're all going to get it wrong if we all agree, because if there's a disagreement, then someone's going to get it right.
Yeah, but we've not yet done the... Okay, we all agree on this, and it's correct.
Oh, right, I see what you mean now.
Yes, you have.
One, I think.
One. There's one so far this game.
Hey, that's half my points. Don't knock it.
Born 1878, died 1930. Royden Joseph Gilbert Racine de la Ginesta.
Bless you.
Wow.
Yeah. Longest name so far. I think it's Ginesta. Just butchering people's names. Ginesta was an escapologist who performed the milk can escape, where he was locked inside a large water-filled can, dependent on a hidden hatch to escape. Before one show, the hatch was damaged in transit, and although he was rescued before drowning, he died later that night.
mean, that's the risky lifestyle you choose when you're an escapologist. That's why you do it, for the thrill and the women.
A lot of escapologists die during their attempt. What was the date on it? The death date?
Born 1878, died 1930.
I mean, that is right in the golden age of escapology.
Yeah.
Alright, I guess we're on to voting. So, Tom, Dragon, and Susie say true. AJ says false. It's true.
Yeah, I'm not having a good luck on this run, really.
Well, the first one that we did was pretty much everyone apart from you did terribly.
Yeah.
So...
Born 1925, died 1958, Gareth Jones. While starring in a play titled Underground, British actor Jones was struck dead by a massive heart attack. The play was being broadcast live, so the cast improvised their way to the end without the major character.
What?
I mean, that's not so much as stupid as tragic.
Yeah.
Well, I think the game's actually called Strange Deaths rather than...
No, it's called Stupid Deaths.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a stupid death.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Unfortunate, perhaps.
Yeah.
Bizarre circumstance. Certainly.
It's definitely a remarkable death. I mean, I have heard of actors dying on stage.
Again, though, like, if they were improvising just around him, did they just leave his body there in the middle of the stage where he fell? Like, again, I want to know more.
I know that, like, in other times, it's happened, like, they've drawn the curtains, taken the person to a doctor, and then just opened the curtains again and continued.
Yeah,
and
kind of.
cases where audiences have mistaken someone dying on stage for fantastic acting.
Some people are very convincing actors, even when they're dead.
Alright, so 3, 2, 1.
Fully prepared to get this wrong again.
Difficult one. Very difficult one.
So, Tom, AJ, and Dragon say true. Susie says false. It's true.
Back in the game.
Get.
Okay, as we move into our 10th subject. Born 1960, died 1981, Graham Spark. Graham liked to smell fresh. He covered his body every day with an entire can of aerosol deodorant.
Ugh.
The fumes
Yeah,
could be
that's
smelt
gonna kill you.
The
That's
fumes
gonna
could
kill
be
you real
smelt
good.
throughout the whole house, and over time Graham started to feel unwell. He eventually died, and the autopsy found large traces of butane and propane in his body.
I'm going to say false.
I mean, if you did that, then that would probably be the outcome. But
Yeah, you would end up wet if you sprayed an entire can over yourself every day.
how could you
And
breathe?
Secondly, this is me doing tactically thinking. Right, this game is probably aimed to give you like a few little life lessons here, and one of these is when you're a teenage boy, don't fucking spray loads of deodorant all over yourself, alright? Because let's face it, we've all walked past teenage boys wearing Lynx body spray.
And you can't
I was
breathe.
going to say, I wonder
afterwards.
how long it takes till Lynx gets mentioned, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like, so I could totally see some desperate parents saying, "Son, you heard about what was the kid's name?
Graham Spark.
Yeah,
Heard about
Graham Spark.
Don't be a Graham.
Don't do what
be a
Graham
Graham.
did."
Don't be a Graham.
Yeah, that's my theory.
I mean,
So I'm saying false.
the changing rooms for PE secondary school, I remember like choking for breath, like desperate to like get it finished and out, because of the smell, but because I couldn't breathe, like it's sticking to your throat. It's horrible stuff.
Yeah, I can believe that. I don't want to believe it, but I can imagine it happening, yes.
Right, well, let us go on to voting. So,
God, my
3,
throat hurts
2,
just thinking about it.
1, vote now.
I just voted early because I was excited and pressed enter.
That's why I forgot how to spell false.
And
You're
I
just
I
be
spat
cool.
the keyboard,
Well.
so I've got truff.
False. So, Susie and AJ say false, Dragon and Tom say true. It's false.
Ha!
Well,
Told you it was one of these urban myths.
Don't be a Graham, children.
Don't be a Graham.
Yeah, did you hear about Graham? I mean, like, there's all sorts of other weird urban myths, isn't there? Like, yeah.
Well, at the 10 question mark, we are sitting on Susie on 4, everyone else on 5. Still everyone's game.
I'm catching up.
you are.
Born 1874, died 1951. Arnold Schoenberg. The Austrian composer and painter died on Friday the 13th. He'd been sick in bed all day, and his wife wrote, "About 11:45 I looked at the clock and said to myself, another quarter of an hour, and then the worst is over." She was correct.
Yes. I like that. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah, he totally died.
I'm pretty sure all these people died. It's just whether
Yeah.
the story's true.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think Graham was ever alive.
If you call that
Graham
living.
denial. Graham denialist.
Yeah, he's all just a big conspiracy theory. But yeah, no, I can see. I mean, this is like one of these stories, isn't it? That's like Oscar Wilde is like, either this wallpaper goes or I do. And then he did. Like, you want to have a witty death. So, like, even if it didn't happen like that, you would say it did. You know?
Well, I mean, he wouldn't.
No, he
because, you
wouldn't,
know,
but the missus did.
dead.
Yeah, the missus would have. So I think it's true, in inverted commas.
So what do we think? Shall we go to voting?
Yes.
Alright. So voting in 3, 2, 1, vote now. So Susie, Tom and AJ think true, Dragon thinks false. It's true.
Fair enough.
Our next contestant, born 1895, died 1932, Marshall Carter. Carter's wife knew her husband had an allergy to insect stings. She was also aware he was cheating on her. She deliberately released several wasps into their bedroom one night. Both him and his wife were stung, but only he died as a result, and she was found guilty of murder.
Yes. Yes.
That's dedication to your intention.
The catching wasps as well, yeah, that's like...
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's the kind of shit that was done, wasn't it? Like...
It's a really effective way of doing it, and I imagine that she thought they wouldn't get caught. So,
Yeah, look at me. I'm covered in stings too. It can't possibly have been me, because I would never endure several stings just to kill my husband who's cheating on me.
Her mistake was by doing it at night time.
yeah, because they don't
Yeah.
fly at night.
Yeah, because people are like, what the fuck do wasps doing out then? No? There's a dead one in the jar. Sloppy. That's what she was. Sloppy. So...
Alright, well, let us go to voting then.
I just want it to be true.
Me too.
So Susie, Dragon and AJ say true, Tom says false. It's false.
Ah.
Ooh.
Maybe it was bees.
Actually, it was a couple of ants.
Yeah, she got the wrong kind.
Like
and
the
it's
ones from Indiana Jones, the crazy huge ones that everything. That was so dumb. I mean, it scared me shitless, but it was so dumb.
Born 1631, died 1671, Francois Vatel. One of the greatest chefs of his age, Vatel's crowning moment should have been overseeing a banquet for 2,000 people, including King Louis XIV. But things went wrong, culminating in a late seafood delivery. Horrified and humiliated, Vatel committed suicide, stabbing himself with his sword. The fish arrived moments later.
That sounds about right, honestly, for what I know of chefs.
I know that time period too. Like,
Don't look at me like that! My sister's a chef.
no, I agree. I agree with that statement about chefs. Worked with some dramatic ones in my time.
Yeah, my sister.
Alright.
Nothing! Nothing! God.
We're saying they're all lovely people.
It's alright, I've got headphones on so she can't hear you. That's
Okay,
That's
good. Well, I think could be true.
I think it.
Because, like, if you've promised the King of France in that sort of time period that you're going to have, like, shellfish at your big banquet for him and, like, 2,000 of his closest mates.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of shellfish as well.
Yeah, and then maybe you've just, like, you heard on the grapevine King Louis really likes a bit of prawns. So you're like, oh my god, you move heaven and earth to get some prawns in.
Yeah.
Because
And
you're
then
in
you're
that
like-
time period and you're not
And then
near
you're
the
like,
coast.
and here is the fish course!
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no fish course.
The fish Where's the fish? Who's got the fish? Where's the fish?
Yeah. And then you keep thinking about, well, you know,
Oh god, the fish isn't coming. It's not coming. Oh god, what have I done?
yeah, and then there's these like stories as well about like King Louis, like someone spilled a drink on him and he chopped off their head, and you think to yourself,
sounds
I
about
don't,
right.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in prison for a while before King
At
Louis
least,
remembers to chop my head off.
or worse.
Yeah.
If I just deal with it, it means I'm not gonna get tortured.
Yeah. I'll just eat a bullet now.
Yeah.
Well, a sword.
Yeah, a sword, yeah. I'll just eat a sword now. Maybe he fell on it. Maybe it was just a really big butcher's knife and he was like, oh no! And tripped and fell. And they were like, that's a shit way to die. We'll see. Fell in a sword, and that way King Louis can't be mad at us for not having the fish course ready. The chef died, look! Fell in the sword.
Alright, so let us go to voting. Tom, Dragon, and Susie say true. AJ says false. It's true.
And it went down exactly like I said.
We should just get a soundboard that's just that because it keeps happening.
Right. Born 1844, died 1879, Horace Farquhar. Dr. Farquhar was a fashionable physician in Victorian London, convinced that he'd been possessed by evil forces and turning to the devil. He drank poison to purge himself of these forces and ended up killing himself instead. He became the inspiration for a strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I want that to be true. But also, Robert Louis Stevenson said he had a dream about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and then wrote it in like a month. So
Yeah, but maybe
We all
not.
want things to
maybe
be
not.
true.
Yeah. I mean, I really want this to be true.
I, for instance, want the fact that calories eaten while walking don't count to be true. It is sadly not.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I think people did do that kind of stupid stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know?
There was still quite a lot of like religious type superstition at that point. So yeah, I can definitely imagine that. And also it would bring in like lots of notoriety, and then once he was cured, he would be a popular doctor,
Very popular.
I guess.
Look at him. He cured himself of being possessed. If that man can't be trusted to be a doctor, who can?
Alright, well, let us go to voting then. So, 3 false and a true. Only Dragon saying true. It is indeed false.
But I wanted it to be true so bad. I bet there was somebody that did that. There are several ones that did.
Oh, absolutely. But it turns out that
It
actually he
wasn't.
didn't inspire Dr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde. He actually inspired The Incredible Hulk, 2000.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Born 1877, died 1927. Isadora Duncan. Isadora was one of the most famous dancers of her time. She is credited with creating modern dance. However, while driving off in her convertible sports car, her trademark long scarf got caught in the rear wheel axle, breaking her neck instantly.
Jesus.
Ooh.
Oof, grim.
So how
mean-
or a scarf?
I mean, at least it was a quick way to go. But
True.
holy shit.
Her rear axle?
It's gonna be a
not
pretty
gonna be the
long
front axle, is it?
scarf, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be the front axle, is it? Because unless she was reversing.
What was the accident exactly? How did it happen?
The scarf caught in the rear axle, snapped her neck.
A lot of things are gonna go wrong, but
Did it mention
those
the
weird Hollywood type stories, you know what I mean?
Did it
Yeah.
mention the style of car? Because if it's like a short car, yeah, maybe depending on how long her
What
stupid
was the
scarf
year
was.
again?
It was a stretch limo.
I mean, I can imagine it because
Yeah, but can you imagine it because it could happen in reality, or can you imagine it because it could happen in a cartoon?
I
it
can imagine
It's
depends
kinda
on the type
cartoony.
of car.
I mean, I'm thinking of the workshops that I've been in and some of the horror stories that I've heard, and that sounds fairly, similar to a lot of stories I've heard. Where
Yeah.
so and so was doing sanding, and they'd grown their hair long, and he had his neck like
Yeah.
as it went around, and that kind of stuff. And like that makes me think maybe it's true, but a scarf in a car axle?
Well,
That's a bit of a stretch.
a lot of the cars that early on didn't have tops on them.
Yeah, and if it was
Oh, yeah.
short,
Yeah.
like, because you know how you got those ones where it was like literally just like 2 people in a seat, and there was like, you gave your bags to somebody else who followed along behind you. You know?
I can imagine it. It depends on. It really is the length of the scarf. It is possible.
Length of the scarf, model of the car. Again, we need more information.
we're not allowed
I wanna-
the information. It's so frustrating. But yeah, I can imagine it happening. In fairness, there were a lot of stupid accidents early on with different types of transport.
Yeah, before people really had any common sense about them.
Yeah, like there was someone who basically walked in front of a steam engine as an early steam train.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
He probably just didn't understand that it was moving towards him. He was like, "Oh, it's just a
The thing is, was it one of the tests of this new particular type of steam train? So he was there to watch it travel quickly along these rails.
Really? Okay, that's just an idiot.
Pretty much.
Ba, 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 ba.
And people freaking out about cars and they go too fast and it'll make women's wombs fall out and stuff like that.
I mean, they thought that higher than 60 miles an hour would make your eyes pop out of your head. Because I think they didn't know the difference between acceleration and velocity, I guess.
They were just convinced that the human body is even more fragile than it actually is.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that's not hard. It's pretty fair though.
I mean, this is true, but lots of stupid things happen with new forms of transport.
Yeah.
Even like bicycles,
Yeah.
like really stupid accidents and like fabric getting caught in the chain and stuff like that. So,
Modern bicycles are what was originally dwarf bicycles, because the first bicycles were used to light gas street lights, so they were like, you'd be really high up, you'd be sitting like, 6 foot, 10 foot off the ground. Whereas the little ones were dwarf bicycles and they were used for circuses and stuff. But over time, things changed. The lights went from gas back to something else and eventually became, LED lights.
So,
What were we talking about? What was the question? Sorry.
someone having their neck snapped by their scarf catching in the car's
Would you like me to
rear
read-
axle.
would you like me to read the information again for you before we go to
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Good. Isadora Duncan. Isadora was one of the most famous dancers of her time. She was credited with creating modern dance. However, while driving off in her convertible sports car, her trademark long scarf got caught in the rear wheel axle, breaking her neck instantly.
That does specify long scarf, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, I know how I'm going to vote.
yeah, me too.
Alright, so I guess it's time to voting. So 3, 2, 1, vote. You all say it's true. It's true.
Hey.
I think
Yeah, because we spent ages debating the details there.
Yeah. How long would the scarf have been?
I
How
think
short was the car?
as a cautionary, when I was a kid, maybe I'm misremembering, but I could have sworn my mum told me something about a long scarf getting caught in the wheels when I was like, 3 or something. Don't wear a scarf near the cars. Maybe I'm misremembering.
The scarf will strangle you.
Yes.
Alright.
Gave me a
Well.
crippling fear of scarves
And rear axles.
and rear axles.
At the halfway stage, all 15 down, 15 to go. AJ's on 8, Dragon's on 7, Susie's on 8, and Tom is on 10.
Oh yeah! Beginner's luck.
So, we roll into the second half with born 1844, died 1913, Menelik II, who was Emperor of Ethiopia and a very devout Christian. So devout he used to eat pages from the Bible, which is what caused his death as he died from intestinal obstruction by consuming paper.
Yep.
That sounds about right.
People do eat some really weird things.
It's called pica.
Yeah, the other day I made a Marmite and mini cheddar sandwich.
Ah.
It's pretty good.
You ever
I
had
will
a
take
toast
your word for
sandwich?
it.
A toast? No, but I have heard of them. It's like a texture thing, though, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
real good.
Pretty sure that was a Mrs. Beaton recipe. Toast
What?
sandwich.
The book? Or
Oh god, yeah. Was she beaten? Oh no, sorry. Oh no. We were not in the same school. I had a tech teacher called Mrs. Beaton. One time we learned how to make porridge.
I see. It's useful to know how to make porridge.
It is.
Doesn't sound like the right class.
That's what tech was when you were at Augur.
Oh dear.
Sewing and how to cook.
Yay.
Alright, well, let us roll into voting then. So what do you think of Menelik II? So we have Susie, Dragon and Tom saying true and AJ saying false. It's false.
Right.
Finally, the tables have turned on that combo.
Return
Yeah.
to tables.
AJ
Just wanted
starting
the,
his run of 15 straight answers correct in the second half. So we move on to born 1898, died 1971, Jerome Irving Rodell. Rodell was an advocate for healthy eating after bragging that he would live to 100 unless he was ran down by a sugar-crazy taxi driver. Rodell died of a heart attack while being interviewed on the Dick Cavett Show. Cavett Show?
Caveat?
Dick Cavett, yeah.
What was the time period?
1898 to 1971.
Oh,
Appearing
yeah.
to have fallen asleep,
Yeah.
Cavett joked, "Are we boring you, Mr. Rodell?"
Yes.
Yikes.
Yes. I want that to be true. But also, like, he lived through the time period of life where, you know, doctors would prescribe cigarettes for stuff. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of
That-
stuff going on there.
yeah, the damage was done.
Which is similar to the other one with the dude dying on stage, though.
Alright, well, prepare to vote now. Tom says false, everyone else says true. It's true.
I love these ones. They're the best. They're the funnest.
Born 1922, died 1964, Catherine Harper. Keeping big cats as pets isn't a good idea, as Catherine discovered. An early feminist, she believed that without males, tigresses could be fully domesticated. She tried to
God.
intervene when two of her pets began fighting, but by the time help came, the cats had consumed much of Catherine.
Yikes.
Because she'd been feeding them tofu. Yeah.
Wow.
Let's face it, that's the kind of person who would be like, you can make a cat vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, now you mention it.
We don't allow it to eat tofu.
They can totally get all of their nutrients from zero of their natural diet.
Yeah, at least
People just haven't
our
been trying hard
diet
enough.
is omnivorous, so we can go vegan.
Exactly. We have
If
the
you're
option.
a carnivore,
Not just a carnivore, an obligate carnivore.
that's true.
Yeah. Oh,
If Carol Baskin can feed her husband to tigers, a woman can totally be eaten by her own tigeresses.
the only unusual bit would be tigers working together.
Well,
Yeah,
she
but
was
if you thought
killed
they
in
could
the
be
crossfire,
domesticated, yeah.
Mhm.
as it were, and then, 20 minutes later when they calmed down, they were like, hang on, there's food there.
Alright.
Maybe they were also young enough that they were still female tigers. At least spend a little bit of time hanging out with their sisters, but
That's
splitting
true.
off.
That could be.
So you know,
Let us roll straight onto voting then.
It's so difficult when there are things like this could definitely happen. I just don't know if it did happen.
All of you say true. It's false.
so
Oh,
a
wow.
fable about not to keep tigers.
Born 1848, died 1883, Matthew Webb. Webb became famous in 1875 as being the first person to swim the English Channel. He later engaged in various other swimming feats, including an attempt to swim through the Whirlpool Rapids below Niagara Falls. This swim was unsuccessful.
Isn't that true? I mean, haven't quite a few people killed themselves trying to do swims around Niagara Falls? Because people have totally died trying to recreate that thing where you go down in a barrel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
So
People are crazy.
those waters ain't messing around.
No, they are not.
And if you're nuts enough to swim that English Channel, you think, hey, why not?
Yeah.
I managed that. I can totally do this.
What's the difference?
Oh, I might land on some really sharp, heavy rocks. Ah, it'll be fine.
Whatever, a few rocks stop anyone.
Just
Alright.
ignore the fact that loads of people have died doing this.
Alright, let's roll straight onto voting then. You all say true. It's true.
Hey, I like it when we all agree on something.
Born 1841, presumed dead 1890. Louis Le Prince. Although not a stupid death, it's definitely mysterious. Louis created the world's first short films. However, on a train to Paris to patent his technology, Louis and his luggage disappeared from two separate locked compartments and he was never seen again. Thomas Edison patented the motion camera.
Huh.
So we're talking conspiracy theory here, right?
Yeah.
Edison, that crafty soul.
I mean,
Hmm.
Well,
He definitely
Edison's a
stole
known
people's attention.
asshole. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but would he kidnap them and bury them in the woods?
Well, he shocked an elephant to death.
Yep.
Is that not Tesla?
No.
No, Edison
No,
did
was
it to supposedly prove Tesla's electricity alternating current was dangerous.
Well, yes, but it's also the only real way of getting it around.
Yep.
I mean,
But
Yeah,
Edison
but
didn't hold the patent on that, so.
So yeah, he held the patent on direct current, so he
Yeah.
needed to prove alternating current
man,
was.
what an asshole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we're going to pin this on Edison.
I reckon it was him. It's always him.
Okay.
I've not heard of him being behind this, but he ripped off so many people.
Did he patent a motion picture camera though?
I don't know.
Patented it, yeah. He was a very prolific patenter. Can't get money for patents.
But would he have got
Yeah.
the man that was on the train to Paris?
No, but he could have contacted people who could.
Well, it didn't say that.
Oh yeah, I
he
didn't mean personally
took
did it.
Oh,
Doesn't say that he was on the train and did it. It just said that this happened, and then somehow he was the one that ended up submitting a patent.
It's just being heavily implied.
Yeah.
I'm going to go true because I like the idea that these cards are like, we're telling the truth.
Game over, man. Game over.
Conspiracy revealed.
Right. So, voting in 3, 2, 1. Vote now. Tom says false. Everyone else says true. It's true.
Wow.
See, this is what they're doing. They're spreading the truth. Like, don't use links.
Don't use links.
Don't use links. Edison.
Don't trust Edison.
wasn't the Lynx one false?
Yeah, but it was a cautionary tale. Like, don't be a Graham.
Don't be a Graham. Let's get the title of this one if it ever goes live. Don't be a Graham. Right. With 20
be a
down and
Graham.
10 to go, we are looking at AJ on 12, Tom and Susie on 11, and Dragon on 10.
Pulling ahead.
Born 1885, died 1931, Hans Werner. Professor Werner was warned that removing artifacts from the tomb of Pharaoh Kamudi brought a curse. Ignoring the warnings, he shipped the objects only for the boat to be sunk before it reached Germany. Werner, however, was unaware of this, as he was already dead, having fallen victim to yellow fever.
Yes. Because there was definitely a fellow who had a really unfortunate tomb excavation where the working theory was that, yeah, okay, the boat sank, so that was just unlucky, that was weather, but that there was some sort of bacterial or spore infection. I think it was a spore
I
infection.
think it was spores.
Yeah, that made a whole bunch of people sick and affected their immune system, so they all
Hey,
sort of
man,
died of slightly various things, but
Hey man, I won't hear anything bad said about Spores. Sure, it's a bit dated, but it's a good game.
Oh god, I've not played Spore in years.
I'm pretty sure that most of the rumors were around Tutankhamun
Yeah.
rather than.
Yeah, and that really is all just rumor because nobody died of a curse from there.
Well, no, but a high proportion of them
That's
did
what they
die.
want you to think.
Well, yeah, everybody dies, but nobody died from that. That was all just like
Carnarvon died relatively quickly. Carter survived quite long. A lot of the local staff died relatively quickly. They were the ones that were going in and opening up like the dead air with the spores and mold and bacteria and stuff. So, no, it's definitely not a curse. But a lot of them did die. But then they never tell you what the death rate would be
Right.
expected to be anyway, so...
Yeah. It's like, wow, all these people have died. Where did they live? They lived 1700 years ago. Well, what do you expect then?
it was also one of these, they were the poor people that had shit food and dirty
Yes.
water and did all the hard labour while Carter and that
What was
sank
it?
around drinking gin and tonics. Keep the malaria away.
Not the yellow fever though.
No, that's true.
Alright, so let us go to voting then.
I also cannot spell false anymore.
So AJ says false, Dragon says false, Susie and Tom say true. It's false. With AJ pulling to 13 while everyone else is on 11. Birth date unknown, died 756. Cuthred of Wessex. Cuthred was the king of Wessex when Viking invaders attacked England. His inability to hold off attacks led to noblemen to dispose him. He was given one final chance to prove himself as a warrior by surviving a pit poisonous snakes, but the snakes persevered.
What?
That's okay.
Can you read
I've
that
made up
for
my
me
mind
again?
on this one.
Can you read that again for
right
me?
back.
Because I'm really confused.
Cuthred was the king of Wessex when the Viking invaders attacked England. His inability to hold off attacks led noblemen to depose him. He was given one final chance to prove himself as a warrior by surviving a pit of poisonous snakes, but the snakes persevered.
I mean, that does sound fairly typical of, to prove you're a warrior, you must survive this deadly pit of snakes. It's like,
How many adders would you need to bite someone to kill them?
1.
No. Adder venom is really weak.
isn't it the only
Really
way?
fucking weak.
We have a lot of adders around. Well, you used to.
Yeah, it hurts. It really hurts. But yeah, adders are almost certainly not going to kill you. Like
gonna
you
turn
would
out
need to, you'd need to have like some horrific allergic reaction to it.
It's going to turn out to be something like really stupid, like, oh, they deposed him and put him in a pit of scorpions. And it's like, oh, for heaven's sakes, we were so close.
I mean, I'm not convinced, and I'm pretty sure that it just doesn't sound like something that, like, a way it would be dealt with in Anglo-Saxon England.
Yes.
I live in Wessex and we don't do that kind of stuff around here.
Yeah, it's scorpions all the way.
Not anymore, anyway.
I'm back. What I missed?
Hey. Scorpions.
Yes. Scorpions is enough for me to make my mind up.
Fair.
Right, okay, well, let's get to voting then. So, 3, 2, 1, vote. Susie says true, everyone else says false. It's false.
Oh,
Like I said, scorpions.
scorpions.
Right.
Scorpions in southern England.
They imported them to show their wealth and influence. Duh.
Yeah, but then why would you put a load of them in a pit with someone?
To show your wealth and influence and what happens if you pick them off. It's like, I'm so rich, I can afford to waste all this money on some scorpions,
I don't think
throw
they
you
could-
in a pit with them.
I don't think they could do that in 759. So, year of our
Well-
Lord 759.
I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely had the contacts. They could have brought in seriously venomous snakes. But it sounds like they didn't have an awful lot of time, and there's not a hope in hell that adders are gonna kill you unless you're one of the very rare people that gets an anaphylactic allergic
Yeah.
reaction.
I'm going to Google that.
Right. Born 1929, died 1955, Eugene Stratton. Stratton played guitar on a rock and roll band. The group never became nationally successful, but have their place in rock history. Stratton was the first person to ever die of electrocution on stage as a result of faulty wiring on his amplifier.
Huh.
The worrying bit there is first. It implies that there were more after the fact.
It'll happen again.
I don't know if he would have died of electrocution on stage. Maybe like died of injuries sustained or, but I don't know that he'd have died there and then on stage.
When was the year again?
55.
1955.
1955.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely could have copped it on the stage then.
1955?
Yeah, because I mean, everyone would have been dicking around with electricity and shit and not understanding what they were doing, so.
Possible.
I was thinking more along the lines of the sort of safety regulations which weren't in place.
No, you can't do that. That's too high a voltage. Back in 1955, there. Guy!
Why have you
Really?
drawn a 9 on this volume knob? Right, so what do we think then? Shall we go to voting?
Yeah.
I'm
Alright.
really, really conflicted about this one.
Tom says false, everyone else says true. It's false.
Boo.
I don't know why I said false. I meant to say true, but hooray, I guess.
Yeah, you got a point.
I don't know why I wrote down false. I intended on saying true. Oh no, I know why I said false just because the whole thing. No.
Well, I
Right, changed my
feel
mind.
like we're
Oh, well.
taking a glimpse back about half an hour. Born
Yeah.
1770, died 1830, William Huskisson. As a Member of Parliament, Huskisson was amongst those invited to attend the opening of the Liverpool to Manchester Railway. The ceremony was marred, however, when Huskisson was hit by George Stephenson's locomotive engine rocket. He was the world's first railway fatality.
So this is the one I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. This the guy that walked in front of the train, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought it was the rocket, but I wasn't entirely sure. Yeah.
I love it.
This guy
You can probably go.
literally walked in front of the damn steam engine.
So, was this the person who walked in front of Stevenson's rocket? Let's do
Yes.
voting.
Well, somebody did.
3, 2, 1, vote. You all say true. Yes, it's true.
Thank fuck for that, because if that was
That would have
wrong,
been very.
Yeah, you would have led us down a bit of a path there.
I know.
We all know now it was William Huskisson.
Oh, poor fuck. Well, at least he'll always be remembered.
This is true.
Born 1925, died 1975, Alex Mitchell. While Alex and his wife watched the memorable TV sitcom The Goodies, he found the sketch called Kung Fu Capers so hilarious he laughed for 25 minutes straight until his heart stopped. His wife sent a letter to the show thanking them for making Alex's final moments so enjoyable.
Aw, that's kind of sweet, actually.
That is very sweet.
It's like, it's sad he's died, but it could have died so many other ways. Dying through laughing, not all that bad, honestly.
I don't know, I think it would be pretty terrifying. Like, someone laughing for a couple of seconds, that's great, but someone laughing for like 25 minutes.
I mean, it's obviously it's horrible.
Think
for
about
her.
it, think about Joker.
Yeah, it's horrible for her. But like, if I was gonna die and I had to choose, dying,
Die laughing.
laughing, it's not all that bad.
It just reminds me of the meaning of life that has the end of this man's chosen how he's chosen to die.
Oh yeah,
He's chosen to be chased off a cliff by topless roller derby players.
yeah.
I am almost certain that this is true.
I'm pretty sure I've heard the story before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Whether that means it's apocryphal, though, I don't know.
3, 2, 1, vote now. Susie and Tom say false, AJ and Dragon say true. It is true. It's
Bollocks.
a very famous tale. Someone died laughing while watching The Goodies.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
So with 5 left, AJ is on 16, Dragon
Result.
and Tom are on 14, and Susie is slightly behind with 12. But remember, we do have the 3 bonus questions tonight at the end, so it can still be anyone's game. So with 5 left to go for the main game, we go on to born 1942, died 1977, Stephen Youngman. In 1877, the Canadian acrobat, the Great Farini, staged the first ever cannonball stunt. 100 years later, his hometown attempted to break the world record for the greatest number of human cannonball performers. When a detonator malfunctioned, one stuntman died, blowing the fun to bits.
Yes, because of the pun. Yes. That's true because I want it to be. I mean, it's horrible for the guy in the cannon, but I think it'd be
And out of the cannon and around the cannon in a 500 meter
Sprayed
radius.
over everywhere else, yep.
yeah, and all that horrible jazz, but
Yeah.
it's good. It's been long enough, we can laugh at it.
True. Alright, let us go to voting then. You all say true. It's false.
I mean, it is dangerous to do the human cannibal thing, though. So, I mean,
It is, yeah.
I was half expecting that story to end with like 2 people crashing into each other mid-air.
fully like Looney Tunes.
Yeah, like, yeah. I would have said that was false, because like that only happens in cartoons.
Born 1890, died 1980, Robert Ripley. Ripley travelled the world for 40 years finding the rarest and oddest artifacts and creatures the world has ever known. He died peacefully in his Santa Rosa, California home of old age.
That's not a weird death.
What, so like he was a weirdo and died at home happily?
Yep, apparently.
Or is it a red herring thrown in the game?
Yeah, so I don't know this one actually, because I mean, yeah, that makes sense as like a kind of thing of like he was sort of traveling, looking at weird stuff. So of course he would go out in like an incredibly boring way,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Typical.
It's tough to know though,
Way to try and find an interesting obituary.
because this is the guy who did Ripley's Believe It or Not, right?
I have
Yes.
Presumably only the original.
Yeah.
I would say so. He did go around collecting weird and wonderful stuff, didn't he? Yeah, you're right.
See, I wonder if this is a red herring, but I'm not sure.
I have no idea
Yeah.
on this one.
I'm literally going to flip a coin on this one.
Alright, so let us go to voting. So 3, 2, 1, vote now. So Tom, Susie, and Dragon say true. AJ says false. It is indeed false.
I literally flipped a penny there and was like, heads true. It was false.
Oh, I looked
Yay,
it up.
lucky coin.
I looked this one up to see what his actual birth was. He was indeed born in 1890. He died in 1949, not in 1980. And he succumbed to a heart attack in New York City.
Where he happened to live at the time.
Yep.
Peacefully in his bed.
The story kind of hung together because he would have been 90 and dying at home, peacefully.
Yeah.
Sort of,
They just lied about the when.
It's a lucky penny there for me.
They said he survived 30 years longer than he actually did.
Yeah. Just lied about the when. That's tricky. That's not fair.
That one's a bit mean.
Born 1709, died 1750, Sir Samuel Penance. Samuel Penance was the Lord Mayor of London. He was also the Sheriff of the city and sat in judgment at the Old Bailey. It was there he contracted typhus, following an outbreak of disease caused by unhygienic conditions in Newgate Prison, which adjourned the court.
It's not like typhus was rare back then.
Yeah, it just sounds like a history lesson.
It's actually going to be typhoid that killed me.
Or it was like 2 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the bit
Conditions
that's
in Newgate were notoriously horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
Prisons back then were awful. But then everywhere was awful if you lived in a city.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
It was awful if you lived in the countryside. I mean, generally,
A different kind of awful, to be sure, but still.
Yeah.
awful. I'm ready to vote.
Alright, well, let's get to voting then. All of you say true apart from Tom, who says false. It is in fact true.
Damn.
Right. Born 1356, died 1410. Martin of Aragon. Nicknamed the Humane, Martin was the King of Aragon, Valencia, Sardinia, Corsica, and Sicily. Having just eaten a whole goose, he's said to have died from a combination of indigestion and laughter after his jester told a particularly good joke.
What was the first bit?
Nicknamed the Humane, Martin was the King of Aragon, Valencia, Sardinia, Corsica, and Sicily.
Well, like, being called something like the Humane isn't a compliment.
No.
Yeah.
It essentially means that you're a really weak ruler.
Yeah, so maybe they gave him a stupid death to, like,
Oh, is it like an
drive home the point.
Yeah, just to go with
Yeah.
him being. Yeah, that makes sense.
Drive, I mean, maybe he
Sorry,
did have a stupid death.
what year did he die?
He born 1356, died 1410.
It's the right time period.
It's tricksy.
And we've already had someone else, it's already been can die from laughter.
Yeah, this is the second
We know this to be
laughter
facts.
death.
Yeah. I mean, but really, how many people have died from laughter? You're going to talk about it.
Definitely one where we can't really say a massive amount because
We don't know shit.
all the surrounding information for that time and place don't actually help.
Right, well, 3, 2, 1, vote. 3 trues and a false. It's true.
There we go, see. I did myself out of another point there by
Well,
the
it's
exact
evened
same
out
way as
now.
I have. Yeah. Well, I kind of talked myself into thinking like, okay, well maybe it is like we said, like a sort of we'll make him look like an idiot posthumously sort of thing. And yeah.
Aragon, Sardinia, Corsica, and actually Corsica lost a little bit later, and Naples were all ruled by one throne until that was inherited by the King of Castile, like early 1500s. Then of course they formed Spain, and things started really rolling.
Interesting.
And we have the last one of the initial 30. Born 1867, died 1912, Deborah Morris. A dedicated member of the suffragette movement, she was killed at a London march by voting booths falling from a horse and cart.
I would say so. They would have been like riding on the cart, pulling at it. I mean, one of them threw themselves. These women were dedicated. Thank you to them.
What was the year again, sorry?
Born 1867, died 1912.
I mean, it's the right time period and everything, but I've not heard of this one before.
No, I haven't either.
I'm a little bit suspicious of that.
Yeah, I feel like this is a story I would have heard. That's why I'm.
Yeah, it feels too similar to Emily Davis.
Davidson, was it? Davidson.
Davidson.
All right. Well, let's get to voting. So 3, 2, 1, vote. AJ and Dragon say false. Tom and Susie say true. It's false.
Yeah.
I think we would have heard of them, especially since the centenary. The first time getting the vote was really recent.
So the final scores after 30 is AJ 19, Dragon 17, Tom 15, Susie 14. So with 3 final questions to go.
Not convinced they're going to make much of a difference.
Probably not going to make much difference, but let's see. Born 1900, died 1977, Mark Perryman. Perryman was in his late 70s, but still enjoyed a daily walk through the streets of Callaway, Florida, where he lived. He was doing so in 1977 when he was knocked to the ground by a jogger and subsequently died of his injuries. The hit-and-run runner was never identified.
The hit and jogger.
Aww, poor wee old man. Shame on that person for knocking over an old man.
Yeah.
Just carrying on
I don't really
running.
have a lot to sway me on this one, though, to be honest, actually.
It would need
You do
to
hear
be
those stories
quite
of
a
people.
fall.
Yeah, but then you do hear those stories of people getting hit and then, going down and
Well, this is
cracking their
true.
head and then dying, one punch dying.
Well, he was 77,
Yeah.
so there could easily have been like osteoporosis and things. So
Hell, even arthritis wouldn't be helpful to keep his balance.
yeah, that's true. And in fairness, all you need to do is be really unlucky with a fall and you've broken your neck.
It's
So
true.
who knows?
Or your scarf.
Difficult one. Oh yes, dangerous
Is that
thing.
true?
to a
Or was that
scarf.
false? I've already forgotten.
The scarf one was true.
It was true.
Are you learning nothing
I am learning.
from these examples?
I'm learning, but then forgetting 5 seconds later. That's the
Have
key.
you learned to don't be a Graham?
Graham.
Yeah, Graham.
Is that the garden fork guy? I've already forgotten who Graham was. Never mind.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Just gas you to death, it's fine.
So,
Anyway, yes.
let's go to voting then. You all say true, it's false.
No.
We'll call that a wash then.
Oh well.
Stay the same.
Right, we have 2 left. Born 1951, died 1982, Michael J. Burgess. After a California forest fire was extinguished, Burgess was discovered in a tree, burned to death. Strangely, he was wearing a scuba diving outfit, and investigators concluded that he'd been swimming in a nearby lake when was scooped up by a water bomber used to douse the fire.
Yes, I've heard
they
of this.
tested this on Mythbusters.
Mm-hmm.
What was the answer?
I can't remember.
True. It was true.
Well, yeah, what they were testing was whether different ways of scooping could pick someone up.
Yeah.
But it was definitely based on this story, so I think I might have... Yeah, I think I'm going to lean towards true on this one. Unless the actual inciting incident was apocryphal, which I keep second-guessing myself.
Alright, well let us go to voting then.
I don't know if I'm going to regret that, but...
You all say true, it's false.
Oh,
Regret it. Fine.
I
damn.
was sitting there right as I pressed it, I thought, yeah, did they conclude... Was it one of those ones where they're like, they did the whole thing and then at the end they go like, there's no evidence that this actually happened, but it's a fun story.
I think there genuinely was a body found in full scuba diving gear in a tree once, but whether or not it was in fire or like in fire-stricken trees or just trees in general, but I'm pretty sure there has been somebody found in scuba
Yeah.
diving gear in a tree.
Alright, well we get on to the final one of today. Born 1852, died 1887. Mickey Mackenzie. Mackenzie was a cowboy in Iowa who was very proud of his long, unshorn hair.
But he got it caught in the back axle of his car one day.
Well, close. While riding under a tree, his hair got caught in the branches, pulling him up off his horse and
Ooh.
suspending him inescapably. With no one else around, he died of thirst.
Jesus, that's unpleasant.
Ah.
I don't know. I mean, I think you'd have to be real dumb. You tangled in your own hair for so long that you died of thirst.
Yeah.
Also,
If he was a cowboy, he'd have a knife on his belt as well, you would think.
would
Yeah.
your hair be strong enough to suspend you? And how I mean, yes, hair would be strong enough to suspend you, but would that much hair get tangled in the tree?
Yeah, like it'd be in a ponytail or
You'd
something.
be able to break some of it and rip some of it out, surely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless
And
So
the more you
proud of
break,
his
the more chance you've got of just, the
And,
rest
like,
of it
don't-
just going.
Didn't most cowboys have hats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just so proud of his hair he couldn't.
There's a
bear to
reason
do
they
it.
all had hats, though, to avoid this kind of...
Yeah, exactly. There was a few embarrassing incidents, and that's when they all started wearing hats.
So remember, boys, always wear your hat.
And don't use too much body spray.
Remember, boys, don't be a grey.
Don't go scuba diving in no lake when there's a forest fire.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we think of this one? So let's go to voting for this final question. So 3, 2, 1, vote now. You all say false. It is indeed false.
Yay!
So the final scores. Oh, there's Rowan.
Hey, I had an interview.
The final scores of this episode were in reverse order: Susie 15, Tom 16, Dragon 18, but AJ the winner on 20.
Yay.
Ah, brother.
Yay!
I'm starting to notice a pattern here.
I'm putting that down to the lucky coin, at least for one of those,
So that is the entire of this pile finished. The entire of the first pack of Stupid Death cards done. Will we do another 6 episodes of this, or will this be the last one? Only time will tell. But we'll just go around and ask, did anyone learn anything today? So AJ, did you learn anything today?
I learned I don't really need to be worried about getting my hair caught in a tree. Because that one was false.
Sounds about
I
right.
mean, excuse me? I feel like I've missed out on a lot.
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
It was a weird one, yes.
So that one was, did a cowboy die from getting his hair caught in a tree so badly that he died of thirst?
Good lord.
Yeah, because he was
answer-
riding his horse, and then his hair got tangled in the tree, but just went off without him.
How long was this guy's hair supposed to be, this fake guy?
Well, our main question was he not wearing a hat as well?
Doesn't he
Cowboy
use
hat.
conditioner? It'll slip right out.
And also, you can break the length of the hair to get out.
I mean, it's not like 72 hours where it's your leg.
Yeah. It's not his hand in 72 hours.
Was this his hand? I can't
I think it was
remember.
hand.
His
got
arm.
His arm, right?
Yeah, it's part of the arm, I think.
I just saw the DVD cover.
Was it 127 hours? So,
something like that, yeah. Susie, did you learn anything today?
I learned, don't be a Graham.
That's the best lesson we can all take from this.
Yep.
Did you learn anything today?
That in this game, if something sounds like it should be a Darwin Award, it's probably true.
And finally, Tom, did you learn anything today?
I learned that the tale I was told by my mum all those years ago was true, and she wasn't just making it up to stop me from running near traffic with a long scarf.
I think that's possibly like the one we had most confusion about, most debate
surely.
about.
Right, so I guess that is the end of the 3rd episode of Stupid Deaths. So thank you again to the cast this evening, and basically just good night.
Good night.
No.
Bye.
Ta-ra. But I have only known you guys for like 2-3 weeks?
Yeah.
I don't know where the boundaries are yet. Jesus Christ, what the hell was that?
that's a screaming goat.
My toy screaming goat that sits on my desk
Yeah.
that I can either just lift up to a microphone and go,
I forgot about that.
yeah,
That's pretty cool. I like that.
yeah. Someone gave me it and went, this will do for your Christmas present. And I was like, great, when am I
Is
going
it
to
bad?
use that?
It's about that I immediately knew what that sound was. Oh, I need to get off the internet.
So yeah, it's a little goat statue that literally you press down and it screams. There's also a yodeling pickle somewhere, but I don't think we should involve that.
What? I'm not going to ask. I don't want to know. Nope, I'm not asking. I refuse.
Might as well just play this once just so I can
Oh no.
not have to ever worry about remembering where the hell it is again. So it's a pickle that looks really, really phallic and has a...
That sounds like the weirdest sex toy ever.
I have a lot of questions.
It kind of sounds like Bellry.
It does
The
kind of sound like
first
Bellry.
The first question is why?
Well, the packaging makes it looks even more suspect when you take the pickle out of it, actually.
That's not helping.
But yeah, same reason as the Screaming Goat. They just thought
Someone
it'd be amusing.
gave you it.
You can guess who it was that gave me it, can't you?
Ashley?
Yep. It's as if you know her.
What I most remember, the first thing I always think of with Ashley is that a sex thing?
Yeah, Graham was saying that the other day.
Bless her. She would ask if anything and everything was a sex thing. It was...
She's adorably innocent, which does frighten me a lot of times.
It's quite creepy that she's so innocent.
She's not really, she just doesn't really understand what's innuendo.
Yeah. It's still somewhat disturbing.
So yeah, I need to make sure this yodeling pickle is away from me, otherwise it'll start
It'll go off randomly.
I mean, when it's in its box, it doesn't make as much noise.
I mean, that's good. Yeah, please remove that from near the microphone. Because if that goes off, I'm not the one having to edit it.
No, that's true.
And I will not save you from yourselves if that ends up on a recording.
Whereas... That's easy enough.
Well, what I have had to do with it?
Yeah, don't make me have to edit that either.
Possibly, I would have.
Right, anyway.
Just leave it in if you do need to.
Right, okay.
Fuck off, Greg. That was not the moment for a that's what she said joke.
That was the perfect moment for that.
But do you know what she did say?
Jesus. Slightly concerning.
Right, as
Yeah,
usual...
so as we were saying, we don't really get offended.
Yeah,